Hey, what's going on, guys? Coach Benjamin here, Foundations Baseball Development. Thank you for tuning in and clicking on the video. Hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Coach Benjamin, Foundations Baseball Development. Thank you for tuning in. Today, this topic came up just kind of organically, and that is pressure. Like, we know baseball is a very emotional game and a very dramatic game, and a lot of times that can equate to pressure, feeling it internally, feeling it mentally, feeling it just. I mean, there's so many situations and if you're up at the plate and it's an 0-2 count, there's a lot of pressure there. You don't want to strike out, and don't ever focus on striking out. Focus on getting a hit. Being a part of like a series or a tournament, like Major League playoffs, there's a lot of pressure in playoff baseball or even tournament baseball. Just tournament baseball, a lot of pressure there. So it's a huge part of the game. Just being under pressure, feeling, those emotions well up inside you. Kind of your adrenaline starts going. You start kind of getting wrapped around the axle. You just feel it. You feel it, and it's I think it's kind of unique to baseball just because there's a lot of downtime, between pitches, and there's whereas like say basketball, the ball's always moving, so the pressure is a little bit less, I would suppose, or hockey even. Hockey's a really fast game, so you don't really have that moment to pause and let all that pressure sink in on you. I've played baseball, I've played hockey, and I felt a lot more drama and pressure playing baseball than I did with hockey. So where does it come from? Comes from the drama. Comes from like the matchups, one-on-one matchups. There's been a lot of times throughout history where a team's ace has been going up against the big slugger from the other team, and and there's a lot of drama and a lot of pressure in that situation, especially in like a playoff scenario or or a must-win scenario. There's a lot of pressure that develops in those situations for good reason, and that's what makes it fun. That drama, that who's gonna come out on top, who's gonna rise above, who's gonna kind of overcome the obstacle, overcome the pressure, and thrive. We've seen it a lot of times, even chasing a record or something like that. Aaron Judge last year was on a chase to hit 62 home runs in a season, which is, in my opinion, the actual record, just because of stuff that was going on in the late 90s or the 90s in general. But I think he owns the single season home run record. But there was pressure on him to break a record. He was mashing the ball all over the place, and like, it was super exciting, but there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He's kind of the face of the Yankees franchise, and the Yankees, as much as I dislike them, are the most legendary franchise in Major League Baseball, in my opinion. They're, more World Series rings than any other franchise. Let's see here. In 2012, Felix Hernandez pitched a perfect game. That means 27 men to the plate, all 27 retired in a row. He obviously had the talent to do it, and so many things had to go right for him to accomplish what he did, and it was a 1-0 game. So at any given point, it could have all been over. But he rose to the occasion. He didn't let that pressure get to him. And what can we learn from that? Well, there's two things that pressure can do to you. You can let it crush you, or you can thrive in that moment. Now, what happens when it crushes you? What are sort of the symptoms of that? And I'm using that word begrudgingly because I'm not a doctor. I'm just a baseball coach. But some things that I've experienced and I've seen others experience, and that, other guys have told me they've experienced, is when they start to feel that pressure, they get in their head. They just kind of overanalyze everything, like, oh, what do I need to, oh my gosh, this is getting so hard, this is getting so difficult, this is, and they totally forget what got them there in the first place, which was just executing fundamentals in brilliant ways, being brilliant in the basics. That's what got you to this point, to give you the opportunity to be in this high pressure situation. They get overwhelmed emotionally. The adrenaline starts going, that cortisol dumps, and you just kind of some guys like freeze up and they're just going through the motions, and they let it get to them. I've seen it in coaching young guys, especially teenage boys. Teenage boys feel things and I'm sure teenage girls do too, but especially in athletics, teenage boys tend to put everything on their own shoulders and really just try to bear a burden that isn't theirs. And they let that pressure get to them sometimes, but a lot of times all it takes is a mentor to say, hey, relax. You've got a whole team behind you. Don't ever worry about failing, because it's going to happen in baseball. But teenage boys, they want to execute perfectly, especially if they've been playing for a while, since they're 5-6 years old. They're like, oh man, I should be better than this. Well, you are. You just forgot that you are, and that's okay. That's totally okay. Which brings me to my next point, which I kind of already said a little bit. They feel like it's all on them. They feel like all the weight of the world, all that pressure is on them. And it's just not true. It's not all on you. It's not all on you. You don't need to feel all of that weight, because it's not all you. It's not. You've got 8 other guys on a baseball field. We're all all reaching for the same goal. We all want to plate runs and prevent runs. We all want to hit the ball. We all want to make great plays on defense. We all want to, win, essentially. We all want to win. Everybody does. A great poem, a great piece of baseball literature regarding this topic of having all of the burden on one guy, Casey at the bat. If you haven't read that poem or listened to it, I highly recommend it. It is very emotional and near and dear to my heart, just because I love all things baseball. So how do we thrive on pressure? Well, you got to really realize that it is part of the game. It's part of baseball. It's part of all sports. Is the pressure to win, whether that is exterior, which I'm not really a big fan of exterior pressure to win, but especially boys, we're naturally competitive. I hate losing. I hate losing so much, and I don't know of any boy who enjoys losing. I mean, the point of playing a game is to win, right? You want to win. You want to score more runs than the other team. You want to win those individual battles. I'll tell you what, striking somebody out feels good because you've won that battle. You won, right? So how do we thrive on this? First thing that I came up with, because I've personally experienced this, is just to smile. Smiling actually releases endorphins in your brain and kind of just makes you feel better, even if it's a fake smile. Try to make a real smile, but just smile. Enjoy the moment. You're getting to play the greatest game that was ever invented. You get to hang out with your friends. You get to have these opportunities to show a talent that a lot of people just don't have the opportunity to do. So smile, enjoy the moment, focus on the next right step, the little things, the next pitch, the next at bat, the next play. Focus on the next step. That kind of goes to slowing the game down and making it a little bit smaller. Don't let it get too big for you, because all these big moments, they're all made of tiny little moments when you get right down to it. And then the last thing that I wrote down here, I got my notes just to let you know, so I try not to ramble too much, but I wrote down a little outline, some notes. Get out of your head. That's the last thing. It's really ironic and kind of a paradox that they say baseball is 90% mental, but in order to perform it at a high level, you kind of have to get out of your head, and just calm your mind. It's really, really ironic, actually. They call it the think a man's game. They say it's 90% mental. In order to perform, in order to perform at a high level, you got to get out of your head. So that's really all I got for today. Let me know in the comments how you handle pressure, how you deal with it, and let me know if you gain some value out of this video. Go ahead, click like, share, subscribe, and check out the merch store. Got some new designs up that I'm pretty proud of. I'm doing this all myself, right? Not a lot of help as far as the content, and then the store I just kind of got on a website and made it on my own. Support the channel, support the merch. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. The view count's going up. The hours count's going up. So apparently I'm doing something right, which is really awesome to see. Can't thank you guys enough. And I'll see you in the next one.